today. Because, I sort of want to apologize for the discombobulated manner by which I ran the second half of last session. Not gonna lie, you guys basically broke my transmission with how quickly you shifted gears. So with that in mind,
Screw the Moonstone Mask.
yeah, like I said, I do want to apologize for rushing you guys through the introductions for the delegates. I had a plan, but did not have my notes put together to really be able to deliver that. Plus, I didn't feel like there was enough time at that point to do everything that I wanted to do. So I want to go over that today. But the first thing that I want to leave off, because obviously last session, you guys, you know what, let me pull it back up. The quick recap. You guys had talked to Kane, and you guys, you guys had talked to Kane, and you basically found out that the same wizard who took the ring is the same wizard that killed Zash's brother. Kane was basically going to give you guys the information of where to find this wizard, and in return, you are going to give the ring back. Kane basically told you guys that, the ring has an ability that if Almograzov is to fully activate it, could create a field of anti-magic 150 feet around. So that is, as anyone could imagine, a sphere. As of right now, the passive ability is the cone that it puts out. Kane also offers you guys a few of his men in order to go up there where he told you that it was, which was up sort of on the trail from Mount Hotenow down to Neverwinter. It was an old town where he now has taken over, that was called Middle Garden. It's now called Raised Garden, because it was burned down whenever Mount Hotenow erupted, and from what everyone says, more or less, you stay away from it, because it's filled with the undead, which you can probably imagine is Almograzov's doing. At that point, you guys were like, all right, well, we're going to chill out, and we're going to wait till the meeting. So, you guys were able to do a few things, in the 24-hour period, and then we shifted over to the meeting where you guys were taken to Castle Neverember. Castle Never. You're taken downstairs into sort of like a secluded vault where you met a number of representatives and delegates from the realm. I actually have them up on the screen there so that you guys can see them. And there was a little bit of bickering between a few of the factions and a few of the groups, mainly between the dwarves and the elves, but also between Dalen Winterhound, the representative for the Emerald Enclave, and King Melindrock, the king of the Wild Elves. Lord Neverember, using his thaumaturgic magic, basically told everyone to shut the fuck up and chill the fuck out for about 5 to 10 minutes, and then he was going to reconvene the meeting in order to let everyone speak out, explain, everything that they are coming to the table with, to basically present to you guys. Since you have been given the illustrious position of being chosen by Elia to lead this operation. I should say to carry out the operation. The representatives would sort of be your bosses. And so you guys had a few moments, and Iluna had gone up to talk to King Melindrock. And it was during that time that he, she had asked about, him staring at her, and, he had said, that she see, he thought she was very beautiful, and then saw her pendant, which he asked to see, and then revealed that he has a similar pendant. And I believe we left off where he says, "My gods," or it's no, sorry, he said, "By Corlon's light, you do have her eyes." So that's where we're gonna pick up. Basically, that's what he just said. Is he's showing you the same pendant that he has around his neck.
I did have an out of game question. Did
Okay.
nobody did anything
Uh, if you're talking about in the five
during the
minutes, I'm going
downtime?
to
Or
give everybody an
no,
opportunity.
in the downtime the day before.
Oh, Smith went shopping.
Okay,
Yep.
just curious. Because I reached out to everyone. But the biggest question I had was if Albina would have reached out to Maggie, presuming Albina would have taken the time to chat with Iluna, because Iluna was popping around trying to chat to everyone.
Albina, would you have reached out to Maggie during that period?
I don't know necessarily during that period. I really hadn't. When you put down in your message states at your own time, I didn't know you meant like
Well, I mean,
that
hey,
day.
that's fine. I mean, like I said, it would have been, you would have had a day, and you would have had about a day or so, like the rest of the evening, the early morning, the next day. Um, so if you wanted to, you would have had the opportunity to do so.
Because I was basically, Iluna was reaching out to everyone saying, hey, um, and that was, but if you wouldn't have reached out to Maggie, then you wouldn't have. But if you would
Oh,
have, then
wait. This was like
because
a
it's
day
kind of
Well,
like,
here. Let me
oh,
let me give a little bit of guidance here. So I'm gonna go down through the line real fast. Hannah. So from the time that you guys left Kane to the time of the meeting, you had about 24 hours. During that period of time, what would you have done?
um. Yeah, I mean, I was just gonna rest and probably be with my Mimcat. I didn't really have anything I was gonna buy.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, if we wanted to, say later, sometime later in the day, and I'll probably be out like walking around or
Okay.
just getting fresh air in the evening, yeah, before bed. Not too late, obviously, because Maggie would be.
Yeah.
I could say, like, hey, just wanted to check in on you. And Iluna's, thinking of you. She has a gift for you. Of course, I won't tell her,
Hmm.
but it's a surprise. And
hmm.
as soon as we get back, you'll see that and take care of yourself and send our regards to the others.
Yeah. So if you would have basically sent her, cordial greetings, she would have responded because it has been, um, it has been. Oh, what was it
Where did
now?
my
About
counter plus go?
session 24, I believe. Yes. So it's been about it's been about 9 days since you've seen her.
Okay.
You know,
Really?
It
yeah,
feels so
Oh,
long.
I know it was session
I was
24.
thinking less. I
Nope.
know it was a long time, like in
Yep.
real life,
Nope.
but I
It
thought it
was
was less
yeah.
than that.
It was
Oh,
session 24 was you guys were back in Phandalin. So that was on the 21st. So it's the 28th. Oh, sorry, 7 days. My apologies. I said 9. So 7 days.
Oh, it's just been a
Um
week. Okay.
yeah, well, in a week in our world. But yeah, so you guys are currently on the date to the Council of Neverwinter, which is on the 28th. That was then. So she tells you that she has been enjoying her time there. Gotten to know, she's gotten to know Tolbin really well. She's also gotten to know Zelene really well. That Zelene is basically showing her the finer points of combat. Whereas Tolbin is showing her customer service and how to cook. So that she is also spending a lot of time with Thistle.
But
So
I imagine. Let me see. Sorry.
yeah, you're fine.
So I haven't. We would have had. Looks like I do have all my. Let me see how many slots I have. Oh yeah, I have all my slots. We would have rested again, I imagine, before the council meeting.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I could send her something back, and oh, that's great to hear. I'm so glad you're making friends and learning, and you know, don't hesitate to keep a journal. If I'll try to keep in touch with you as much as possible. Something to that degree.
All right. So JJ, what would Zash have done during the 24 hours, if anything?
He would have went back to the estate,
Okay.
and apologized to Lord and Smith about getting the tickets to the Moonstone Mask, because we weren't actually going to use them in the long run.
Oh,
Okay.
it's mask. I said
And
mask.
ask him if he wants me to try to scalp them or not. And if he says no, I'm just gonna spend the rest of the day with my family.
Okay. He tells you that the tickets are for admittance, not necessarily any specific times, so he can always use them in the future anytime that he wants to go there and watch a good show.
Oh, okay. Well then, yeah, I give them back to him.
All right. Hey Aaron, how you doing, buddy?
Okay, what's up?
Not much. I was just you're the next person in the line. All right, Smith. You went shopping.
What?
Did you buy anything?
No. Library wouldn't have like spell scrolls, would they? Like a spell book that I could copy spells from?
They would not. They would not have a spell book, at least, that you could copy some from. No.
Uh-huh.
That would be kind of. That's an idea, though, for the future. I mean, I'll say that. I'll say that, like, yeah, there's not really a college there anymore, because I mean, it is kind of the library. So it would just be the scrolls that are available at the Wizards of the Sword Coast.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I didn't really find anything that stood out.
Okay.
I was looking for something like counterspell or something.
Gotcha. I understand. All right. So yeah, Stacy, I know what you went and hung out with Adabra. Talked about your potion. Some crazy circumstance that accidentally destroyed some of the resources that you and her had gone out and gathered.
Yeah.
Those damn horses.
It's horrible.
You know what it was? When you guys were coming back into Neverwinter from the fields, there was a guy that was there at the horse depot, at the where the horses are, and he was putting some of the horses up, and he was getting one tied up to one of the carriages, and he sneezed, and that's what actually set it off, and that's what bumped into Adabra, and that's what made her drop all the stuff, all the ingredients that you guys had gathered, and then they got trampled underneath this whole rush, and then that guy went chasing off of him, and like a really strange thing about him was you noticed as he was running away, waving his hand to get the horse back, you saw he only had 2 fingers on that hand. Kind of a little bit of a ragamuffin, not in his best times, kind of guy. You imagine he's probably down on his luck. Poor guy.
Damn, he looked familiar.
Yeah, like strikingly familiar, but something about it just
can't place it.
Yeah, it's like on the tip of your tongue. Cephas, Steve, what would Cephas have done over the 24-hour period?
I wanted to pick up a couple of health potions if there was any available.
Yeah, we'll say there's a few at Wizards of the Sword Coast.
Yeah, so probably just a couple of the regular ones, nothing too special, just the standard health potions.
Sure.
After that, probably spent a bit of time with I've forgotten Stacey's character's name.
All right, Luna.
Stacey's character. Yes, there you go. Probably just trying to, I don't know, go over his thoughts and get himself back together, get back on the right sort of path in a better mindset.
Yeah.
And after that, probably just going back to the inn to chill out with Webster and contemplate his thoughts.
Right.
In your
Eh,
horse.
yeah.
Horse
So
won't fit in the room.
I just
think.
imagine Cephas like up in his room, just like pulls the horse out of the bag, just like, yes, I am whole once again.
Even though he only just
Yeah,
loved the horse. Anyway.
Tony, what would Nylor have done over the day? I know at one point you were obviously sent correspondence from Elia.
Yeah, mostly just relax and mentally prepare myself for the council meeting,
Okay.
knowing that it's going to be a tall task.
Yes. All right. So there we go. So yeah, like I said, King Melendrock, he's looking at you, Luna, and you can see there's a look of hopeful confusion in his eyes when he looks at you as he's holding this pendant.
Yeah.
Said he.
Luna would look. Oh, what you were
Oh
gonna
no, I was
say?
just gonna say he. The last thing that he said was you. By Corlon's light, you do have her eyes.
By her eyes, you mean my mother? I mean, everyone's said that. And
Is your mother
I
Mia?
was gonna say, can
Face is cutting out a lot for me.
Yeah,
does
you're
it, does it feel like they have prophecy? What?
your mic is kind of dipping. Just it's mostly because your voice is trailing off.
Oh,
I thought you were talking to me for a
so
second.
are they somewhere a little bit private? I think
I mean,
that's what she would ask.
King Melendrock
we-
basically has
Is
his.
there a corner?
I mean, sure. There's four corners. You're standing in a square room. But I mean, King Melendrock does have his posse. Like he does have his like elven courtiers with him.
Okay. Well, she doesn't know anything about that type of stuff.
Sure.
Is there? Can we move to somewhere more private?
Oh well.
I
He
even
said
just off the
he
corner.
he sort of looks at all of his elven courtiers and he says, "Gentlemen, form a phalanx around us. Myself and this young elf need to have a discussion, and we want a little bit of privacy." And so he sort of like moves over to the one corner, and you see all the other elves that are standing there. They basically just like brace up against one another to create like a bit of a cornered off wall right there. You see everyone else that's around the room, like, the dwarves and the humans and all of them. They're all like kind of looking over there, and, a couple murmurs here and there. And for the rest of you that are standing there, when you see this, you hear one of the dwarves that's with Conrad. He, looks over and he goes, them damn fancy elves. But I gotta say,
Oh Lord.
that's quite a shield wall that they can do. Gotta fatten them up, though. He says, look at all the gaps between their arms. And King Melendrock looks at you and says, your mother is Mia, correct?
Yes, that's correct. I am astonished. You have the same pendant. She said it was from her family. Like her line.
Well,
It suggests you knew more about me than she let on.
that King Melendrock knew more about you?
No, yes, that he knew more about Luna's existence than her mother let on.
He looks at you and with the most sincerest look in his face, and he says, "Until this moment, I never knew that Mia had given birth. I have birthed 2 sons in my time on this mortal coil, but I was not aware that Mia had given birth to a 3rd child. Is she well?"
I took on my own travels 4 decades ago. Presume so.
See.
This pendant made me feel connected to her, but I haven't seen
Uh,
her.
he smiles
I
and
mean,
he smiles and he
us
says,
elves, it's not been that long.
"It's well, it's been about 1.5 centuries since I've laid my eyes upon her in person. Back at the Sylvan Accord when we first met. It
I just, I
Yep.
don't understand how I have matching pendants.
Well, she gave me this. You see, it was about 2 centuries ago or so. Maybe about 100 and well, I guess I should ask, how old are you?
140.
Well, I guess that answers my question. 140 years ago, then. See, your mother, back then, there was a meeting of the elves, known as the Sylvan Accord. There was all of us coming from around the realm, the high elves, the sun. He says, or sorry, he says, we were all there we were all there to represent the wild elves, and he gestures to himself, the wood elves, and then the sun elves, and he actually like gestures in the direction towards Smith. The moon elves, and he gestures towards you.
Oh,
The star elves, and in fact, I believe there was 2 drow tribes there: the Loran drow and the Avon drow. The Una drow, they refused to attend. Them in their Lothian ways, refusing to see eye to eye with us surface dwellers. It was there that I had first met your mother, and I will say I was immediately smitten. Most strikingly beautiful elf I had ever seen. And I knew that my feelings would continue, so I made them known to her, and she told me of her feelings. But what stood in our way was her mother, a witch of an elf.
her mother.
Yes. She
I
was
have it in my head that Iluna knows her mother.
He
Must
says,
be someone else.
her mother was a prejudiced one. She felt that the high elves, mostly the sun and moon elves, were the only true elves, even though we Eladrin were the ones birthed from Corlon's blood. She had a particular distaste for the drow, and when she found out that your mother and I were courting one another, she made it very clear that even though I was the king of the wild elves, that her daughter would not be to consort with our kind. That did not stop us, though. Your mother and I were very much in love. And we had our time together. Then the last night of the accord, she gave me this pendant. I believe she said, when bathed under the fires of the full moon, your heart's desire will carry you to who you seek. I didn't quite understand it, but
I had an experience.
then
I
you
was
went to
gonna
the
ask you about it.
Then you have been to the sanctuary that your mother has set up.
I guess during a time of strife with my friend Zash, the Tabaxi who was with us. During the full moon, I held my pendant in. There was an altar we found, and before I knew it, I was in the Feywild with two versions of our moon goddess right there with me, or some iteration of them. Certainly seem real to me.
Then it seems to me as magic extends beyond even the bounds of the pendants. See, what they were meant for is when your mother and I wished to see one another, we could go there, and if we had gone in the same time, we would have been with one another. Fortunately, over the years, when I had those thoughts, and it was the full moon, she was not there. So I have not been able to hold her in my arms for so long. But I have been to that place. I love your mother. To this day, I still believe that she loves me. But your damn grandmother. That witch Vildara was the worst thing that ever came across my path.
No.
The only upside that I had was finding one day word had reached us that Vildara found her end in a cell of a dwarven fortress somewhere. And I wish she suffered.
She's gone.
That brings me peace.
No.
Did you ever
I
know
think
your
that
grandmother?
would take her aback. Iluna would be taken aback.
I'm sure she would.
I was saying for her own real nose. We were tasked to clear Axholm. It's clear now. I had hoped she was something in my mind to ask you about. She said I was a princess.
Well, if that...
She said... Wait, I have an out-of-game question. Was that when she said Smith was kin?
Yep.
Yep. Yeah. She said the other elf with us is kin. I don't know what that means aside from being an elf.
And he looks over at Smith.
She hated you. She hated you.
Yes, she did. She hated all us wild elves. She believed that we were dirt, even though we were the first. We are the Eladrin. We are the ones that harness the Feywild and bear it on our skin. In fact, that's probably why that she did what she did to your mother. Kicking her, You see, your Vildar was an ambassador for the Moon Elves. While she was not the best ambassador, considering her distaste for other races, she was a powerful diviner. She was able to tell what it was that folks were thinking, was able to read into their histories. She used that ability whenever she was out trying to gain allies and enemies. I can only imagine she looked into you, possibly your friend over there. Saw something. But I can only imagine that when she saw your skin and saw that you had wild elf in you, she knew exactly what happened and kicked your mother out onto her own. I did receive word at one point that your mother had been killed. I knew that it was false because I had traveled to the Feywild to find out. Not even using the pendant. In fact, I was able to bypass it with a druid that was able to help me shift to the plane. I saw that she was still alive, and I knew that something was awry, but I had hoped amongst hopes that in time she would come find me and explain what happened. It obviously never happened. I'm glad to know that she is good.
How long was this? How long ago?
How long ago was what?
Was this when he thought she was killed? Like in the beginning?
A year or so after we had last seen one another. Right around the time that you would have been born. Can only imagine Vildara was furious with her. When she saw you, she has no more of it.
I don't know how we would have escaped her. I had a figure though in the clan.
You had what?
A grandmother in the clan. I mean, clearly not blood one.
Well, the thing to remember about us elves is we all come from one blood. We are all the children of Corlon. It is through the connection to the Feywild and through the blood of Corlon that we are still one. In fact, that was what we were trying to establish at the Sylvan Accord. To come to a true agreement amongst us elves to stop the bickering, to stop the prejudice, to stop the arrogance. And he looks over at Smith and he says, I have a lot of respect for the High Elves. I have good friends that are High Elves. But I know that your grandmother, her husband was a Sun Elf. Never had the pleasure of meeting him. He was... Your grandmother, Vildar, was a ambassador. And and your grandfather, Mia's father, well, he was something else entirely. I never had the chance to meet him, but I heard the stories.
What stories? As Iluna glances over also at Smith.
He
Probably.
was something of a Master Arcanum. I'm not sure whatever happened to him, but it was a he was a practitioner of the arcane arts of the highest degree. Apparently that is what introduced Vildara and her husband, was both their practices with magic.
Sorry, for Iluna's conversation,
Yes.
we wouldn't have heard this, but is he talking to Smith now? And are
No,
we...
no, he's not talking to Smith. He's still talking to Iluna. He's just sort of like more or less anytime that he's like referencing sun elves, or like golden elves or high elves, he because that's what Smith is. Smith is a sun elf, whereas Iluna's a moon elf. So it's like gold elves, silver elves. It's just like two sub races of the high elf. There's also star elves, the mithril elves is what they're also known as.
Gotcha.
Yep. So yeah, he's more just like looking over at Smith more as like that's a perfect example of a sun elf. Real quick for everyone else, while this is going on, would anyone else here, before this council really kicks back into gear, would any of you want to talk, in a more, like, relaxed way with any one of the other delegates?
I cast blindness. No, I'm just kidding.
On the whole place.
No, I was gonna say on who Albina was talking to. I'm sorry,
Oh no,
I'm just kidding.
King Melindrock.
I forget, what did Ilya say? Which dragon should we go after? I forget what she said.
She said that the white one, because she said to go after the white one, and I think when she says it, she sort of looks at your group and sort of says, I would go after the white one. Almost giving you a sense that she would fear that if you were to go after the others right now, you might not survive.
Okay.
Because she says it with a bit of worry and caution.
Is she nearby? Can I talk to her kind of in private?
Yeah.
Okay. I was just gonna ask if there's any way she could help in the fight against these dragons.
She says, she looks at you and she puts her hand on your shoulder. And she says, she says, I have two tasks. The first was to bring you here, to put you before the council, to give them the chance to hear, or to give them a chance to see you. My next task is I must go speak to my brethren. I must go talk to the other metallics. I have hopes that they will hear us out. But I believe that if we are to gain their willingness to participate in this fight, then you will have to prove yourselves worthy of being able to stem the tide.
I understand completely. Is there any information you could give us that would maybe tip the scales in our favor?
I will reveal as much information as I can once the council has spoken. I have insight on where the dragons and the cult may be laying roost But I have yet to find out where the summoning would take place. That is what we must find. But I will give you that information shortly.
I'm gonna nod and give my thanks and back away and rejoin the group. Fill them in on everything she said.
Okay. Anyone else?
Didn't you say Romalia was eyeballing me?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go over to her.
All right.
He wants the sex.
Yeah.
So,
You you walk over to Romalia Haventree. You can see that she is elven in nature as well due to her ears. While her hair is dark, her features are more similar to Iluna's than they are to Smith. So this might lead you to know that she is possibly a silver elf as well. When you walk over to her, she's sort of standing there. She's quietly just, sort of away from everyone else. And, just kind of watching everyone. And how do you approach her?
I'm going. Oh gosh. Are there any shadows?
I'm gonna
Or
say
dim light areas?
I'm gonna say no. Like, you're in a fairly it's not like super small. It's not like the size of my room or anything. But there are magically lit candles like all throughout this place, lighting everything up.
Okay. I'll just walk over to her then and ask her. I couldn't help but notice that you were kind of eyeing me during all of that. Do you know who I am?
Well, of course I do. You're one of my newest recruits.
I haven't done much for your particular order as I'm still trying to figure out what you guys are all about.
She nods and she says, I believe with what it is that is going on here today, you will soon be providing me with of the utmost information of the utmost import. And you can see that as she's talking to you, she's still she's not looking at you. She's constantly back and forth across the room, surveying everyone.
I'll kind of interrupt myself and just ask her, see anything interesting?
And she nods. And you can see that when she does, her eyes are a little bit more fixated on Rianne Nightshade, the member of the Zentarum. And she says, I just know that she and I are going to butt heads to the end of the days.
Wait, who is she talking about?
She's talking about the representative of the Zentarum, Rianne Nightshade, the tiefling that she's right next to in the picture.
I get the feeling that everybody's of that sentiment right now.
She says, there is a way, there is a way that this can be done logically. And I know that she knows that. But her methods, I question. But I must first hear her out before I make my decisions. It is only polite.
Back to your earlier comment. What information exactly are you looking for me to relay to you?
Depending on the decisions set forth here today, I believe our best course of action with dealing with this cult is to capture the worm speakers, the leaders of the respective cults, to bring them back to us and get that information. The information that I need from you would be to anything else that you find along the way, or information if the council decides that the worm speakers are to be handled otherwise.
And what will you do with this information?
And she sort of like, she looks at you, she looks at the rest of your group and like kind of at the council, and she says, I take it you have not been fully informed of the purpose of this council.
I have been. I'm
Then
just
you-
asking, what would you personally do with that information?
I would use it to determine the degree to which we are able to help. As you should know, we Harpers do not act openly and aggressively. It is not our way. Our methods are concealment, quiet, and under the nose. If we are to let the cult finish what they have started, it would spell an end to all things beautiful and honest. We cannot let that happen. In order for us to have the best chance of defeating the cult, is to find out as much as we can. We need the intelligence gained by a course of action to measure our success. We need the knowledge that can be leveraged against the enemy to crush them into submission. It's through those methods that I will be able to convince the heads of the Harpers to offer our mages and scouts to you in the final fight.
Can I trust you?
Do you have a choice?
There's always a choice.
Then I think that's a choice you need to make.
I mean no disrespect, but I've never even heard of the Harpers until a week ago.
Pats you on the
No,
arm, and
there's-
she pats you on the arm and she says, then we're doing our job.
I'd say so. I just think it's wise to have caution instead of blindly jumping into something. I've
She's-
only met, you
Hmm?
are now my third Harper. So,
And she
still
smiles.
getting a feel of the organization, if you would.
Yeah, she smiles, and she says, I understand. I know that you were recruited down in Phandalin. I know that Sister Gorell was not around. She's actually out working for me right now. But your friend down there, shit, where the fuck was, there it is. But the one who recruited you, Lenine, she apparently saw something in you that was worthwhile enough to bring you into this. when I had learned that we had a new recruit in the area, and then to find out that you were going to be joining this council, I must say I am quite pleased to know that.
Are you of the mind of me keeping all of this from my friends and party members? You know, it almost feels like a betrayal to pass information to you without telling them that I'm doing so.
You will find that having confidants alleviates that stress that you are feeling. If it is your allies that you trust, if it is in them that they could respect the ideals that we are to follow, then it would be to my benefit to trust your judgment. As you can imagine, if we only ever kept to ourselves, the Hoppers would not exist.
Shit. Sorry, out of game, I'm contemplating something
Yeah,
right
yeah, it's all good.
now. I'm gonna reach in the bag and pull out the Dragon Slayer longsword.
Oh, okay. Man, when you said I'm
And
reaching in the
ask.
bag and pull out the dragon, I'm like, ah! Okay.
No. I want to ask her about the sword. Ask her, if she, do you know of this sword?
Um,
Is there any way to bolster it for it to be even more effective against dragons? Since
I'm
apparently we want to kill 4 of them, 5 of them. So
I cannot say I'm not I'm not particularly skilled in the arcane arts to know what the sword is. Um, if you are looking to bolster it by any means, Lady Silverhand of Waterdeep might be able to help you, as well as and she gestures to Lady Silverhand, and then she gestures over to the man named Taryn Hornblade. She says, "I know Sir Hornblade over there. He goes by the nickname of Thunderspells. So I believe that he might be able to help you a little bit more. He is a master, he said, he was the High Mage of Silverymoon for an unnaturally long time.
which do you think I should go with?
I would say Sir Hornblade might be your better bet. He is more skilled in the arcane arts, whereas Lady Silverhand, while she is one of the 7 sisters, I am not sure if her skills would benefit you, but some say she is the daughter of Mistra. Which, if you want to roll a religion check, you might know who Mistra is.
A 2.
Nope. For
Okay,
those of you that are For those of you at home that are wondering, Mystra is the goddess of magic.
Oh, okay.
She sort of looks at you and she says, back in the day, her powers were impressive, but today she focuses more on political powers.
See, where does she reside?
She is the current open lord of Waterdeep.
Let me think. Is there any way for me to get in contact with you directly?
And she it's kind of nonchalantly, but you notice it because she's like sort of flagging it to you. She shows that she has on a bracelet on her hand that there is a tiny stone attached to it. And she says, I believe you have something that can connect with this.
I do.
If you need me, all you have to do is reach out.
Thank you.
Yeah, so for what it's worth, and if you want to, I don't know if you have it denoted anywhere, but on your character sheet or somewhere in your notes, if you wanted to note that your stone of far speech, or stone of no, it's not stone of far speech. It's sending stones. That's what it is. That with that, you are able to reach out to you're now able to reach out to Ramalia, Haventree. Goodness me, what was his name? Bada bing, bada boom.
Sparkle.
Yeah, it was Sparkles, but I couldn't think of what his other name was. Sparkles, and then Leanne back in Phandalin. And she, like I said, she's sort of like, looks at you. Do you have your stone out, or is it still in your pocket?
It's still in my pocket.
Okay, yeah, I just wasn't 100%. Wanted to make sure.
I'll thank her, and I'll kind of just give her a little bow and then go back to the group.
She nods as, her eyes, for the most part, very rarely ever left the general assembly. So if nobody else has anything else you guys want to talk to somebody about, then oh, yep.
Coming back to me.
I didn't know. I
'Cause
didn't know if
feel that was finished.
Oh, I didn't know what
so-
else you wanted to know.
Yeah, I kind of got caught off in the middle
Okay, well
thought process.
after Stacy,
I thought you were just giving everyone a chance before coming back to me
I don't know if she can
because
hear me.
it definitely didn't feel done.
Yeah, so we'll go ahead and finish up. We'll go ahead and finish up by Luna, and then we're gonna jump over to Albina.
Okay.
So what else did you want to talk to
Yeah.
King Melindrock about?
Kind of wanted to bring up the whole whisper of his son being somebody of animosity, but I don't even know where we stopped off.
I mean, Dalen Winterhound
Like
accused.
the pendant was given to him. Sun elves were.
I mean, he basically told you the past that he has with with Mia.
Yeah, because it definitely didn't feel like the conversation was over. She'd even leave or say her goodbyes or anything.
Um, so that's what I'm asking. Like, what other
She would
questions?
want to learn how to keep in touch.
Um,
Oh, because everything paused.
no, your internet's starting to phase because your camera froze for like a good minute.
Oh,
Explain the lag because I was
Yep.
like,
Yeah. Um,
no, yeah, I don't know. That conversation just got cut off and I lost what I was thinking. And then I was trying to pay attention to everything else that was being said. But
well,
I
yeah, basically,
have questions
basically,
that I wrote down.
yeah, basically, we left off with him saying that Vildara's husband was a a sun elf mage of the highest order. That was basically where we left off because you had asked about me, like her husband.
Okay.
So I mean, as for keeping
So, well,
mhm.
so that makes her you he doesn't know anything else about this grandfather person.
Well, no. So he never really spent a
Like,
whole lot of
well,
time with. He never met him because he was not there at the assembly.
yeah. And a way to contact Mia would be with the pendant to the Feywild, but he's never seen her there.
It's so
She's never shown up.
the way that the pendant works is on the full moon, you can travel there by trying to reach out to the person that you want, because in that moment when you used it, you were basically calling out to your goddess, to the goddess that you guys were praying
Mm-hmm.
to, and that's why they were there with you. But if you went there and King Melindrock also went there, you two would be there, at the same time. He was saying that uh Mia never showed up at the same time that he did.
Right. Um, yeah. So what does this make me if you're a king? Does the rest of the realm need to be aware of me?
I must say it is quite shocking to find out that I have a daughter. But I guess that is up to you. You've never lived a moment of nobility, but you are. If you wish to live your life as you were, I do not blame you. Maybe that is why your mother never told you about me. She probably wanted you to live a simpler
Perhaps.
life, distant than the one she lived. But at the end of the day, you are the daughter of Mia Anastasia, the daughter of Elven Ambassador and a Elven Mage. And you are also the daughter of King Melindrock, the son of King Melantis.
What kind of life or protections or alliances might this afford us? I mean, we're here for the dragons, regardless of our relationship.
I am here representing the High Forest. I still have those that I must confer with. If they are to find that my daughter is amongst those that are going after the cult, I may be able to sway them, but at the same time, they may not be so willing to send the first princess of the king into such mortal danger.
Of course.
We find ourselves in a peculiar situation, to say the least. And as for your
Indeed.
brother, I do not believe.
Oh.
He shakes his head. He says, I do not believe that he is what Dalen accuses him of. Your son, my son was exiled from the High Forest, but he would never turn against his own people as such.
I'm not even sure what he's been said to be. We're only learning about the different aspects of these dragons being, I guess, worshipped, or I don't know. The cultists, they don't control the dragons, they work for the dragons?
From what we were told, the cultists are offering to the dragons treasures in exchange for their powers, exchange for their magical influence. That is the rumor, at least. We are not 100%, though. That is why the council has convened, so that we can set forth a plan to learn this information.
And your stance, or those you represent, is what? What what direction to move forward?
I have been the king of the High Forest for many, many decades and centuries. I have led them since before most of our kind abandoned the lands in the retreat. And despite all that, I still believe that it was a rash decision. I want as much information before I make any commitment. I believe that, and he sort of looks over at Lord Daggelt Neverember. He says, the humans of this realm are quick to action. They are also quick to fail. It's with time and contemplation that it is you can create the best outcome. We need to urge caution, gather more information.
Okay, I agree. Gathering information is important. To what end will this information result in action? What are you looking to learn before there's action taken?
We must know exactly where our forces are needed. The High Force is willing to commit some of our Eldritch Knights to the cause of stopping the potential summoning. But we are not going to simply throw our elves away like a rapper in the wind.
I don't know where this puts me. I was brought here with our group to be entrusted with some quest or mission that I think the final decision lies with us. But now I know I don't want to say the word royal, but I cannot think of a better word.
You are.
Royal descent.
Well, then it seems
Um,
you, my daughter, have a decision to make.
yeah.
And you can see at this time,
I
oh yeah, good.
I was gonna say I don't think anything was said about keeping in touch.
Oh, I mean, you can always
To make
he'll basically tell you you can always send word to the High Forest, and it'll reach him. He says I can send messengers to you. The animals of the forest have carried messages across these realms for years.
um maybe my bird anime can help in some of that regard.
I can understand if that is arrangeable.
For now, I just want to remain Iluna. I will let my group know. You feel free to tell those in your most trusted circle I exist if it seems necessary.
There are those that I will inform, but they will be of the highest scrutiny. All right, so Albina with
I was gonna say it was a pleasure to meet you. I never imagined coming to such a event would have a personal impact.
well, I can tell you I'm just as surprised.
And she'll, I don't know, take her leave. In my
Yeah,
head, she feels like she should curtsy or something, but doesn't know
yeah.
protocols. So she
He,
might walk out like half curtsy, awkwardly.
yeah,
Do you shake your hand of your dad king? Like the hell do you do?
yeah. He'll give you a polite bow. Um, as for Albina, yes, with a 21, um, you know of Alder Ravengard that his he is the leader of the Flaming Fist, the military side of Baldur's Gate. Um, with what you know of him, his exploits tail him as having the greatest martial acumen of anyone at this council. Um, you have heard that he is excuse me. That he is dedicated to discipline, and he has risen through the ranks of the Flaming Fist by the might of his blade and the sharpness of his wits. And while he sometimes lacks sophistication and tact, he possesses an unwavering commitment to law. And much like some of the tales, much like some of your own, your own captains and leaders back with your knightly order, um, they have a they are you've heard that he is more accustomed to working with soldiers more than adventurers. Soldiers who are told what to do, follow the rules, toe the line, rather than adventurers who have to make calls in the field on their own. And you know that he has been. You have heard tale of his strict attitude that when he gives an order, that is to be obeyed without question.
Gotcha. Uh, I guess I would still go. I'd go over and just introduce myself and, sir, it's an honor. Heard of you, know a great deal. Is there any kind of word of, any kind of knowledge that you can provide us to help us gain some insight on what we're gonna be coming up against?
He
Any? Mhm.
he looks at you and he says, "Follower of Tempest. I have some followers of Tempest in my ranks. As for the information that I bring to the table, it is not good to the south. My people are still in the process of recovering and reconstructing our city. As much as I would love to see the Flaming Fist take a leading role in the fight against the cult, I must ensure that Baldur's Gate is taken care of. The council down there, they have entrusted in me to see to it that our support will be towed with the greatest drive for stability and discipline. As for right now, the thing that I can inform you of is that it is going to be a hell of a fight. And if it is up to me, the Flaming Fist is going to take a leading role against the cult." He, sort of holds up his hand, which, as he does, he has this, golden fist around it. And you can see that, his gauntlet is sort of designed in a way that looks like fire.
Yeah, I hope. Thank you for your words of encouragement and guidance. I hope everything does get better, and the Flaming Fist, you said it was? I'm sorry, I can't remember what you said. Is that the name of the group?
The Flaming Fist is the it's the military force that
Military force,
is
okay.
that is in Baldur's Gate. So he is there representing Baldur's Gate in, offering up troops and stuff.
Oh, okay. I hope you can take care of Baldur's Gate and bring order. And you said it was a gauntlet that had a flame on it, you said?
Yeah, basically his fist, the gauntlet that he wears on his fist is basically designed in such a way that it looks like fire etched into it.
And I'll just smile and say, I like the detail on that right there.
And he smiles and he says, "I received this when I saved thousands of lives down in Baldur's Gate, when we protected the city from Baal. This was a gift from the Lord, and I will not betray the trust that has been given to me, that they have put in me."
It would be an honor to fight by your side one day.
He reaches out his hand to shake yours.
And I shake it and I'll take my leave.
So while all that was going on, you see Lord Neverember. He goes back up to the front of the table. And
Lucas, did you see that message?
What message? As King Melon, do I hear you try? He will tell you that he is, regarding who he potentially recommends you guys try and gain alliance from, he's going to tell you that he is currently unaware of the wants and desires of everyone else, but he does put a lot of trust in Lariel Silverhand, as well as in the representative from Silvery Moon.
Also, real quick, Lucas, I forget
Yeah, buddy.
which people were okay, wanted us to go to the White Dragon first.
Oh, that was just Elia. You were like, hey, can you, like, are we going there?
Yeah, but didn't each like group have a specific dragon in mind?
Oh, yes. I'm retconning that part a little bit, because that was sort of where, like, I was getting my notes mixed up and confused. The one who said to go after the white ones, whenever I said that, was the Order of the the Order of the Gauntlet, as well as Conrad Braun Anvil, because the white one is having a disproportionate effect on the dwarves in the Sword Mountains.
Okay, thank you.
But yeah, sort of
Yeah.
retconning that a little bit.
Also, I don't know if Smith would have been nearby me, but I'd have been like, check out that, gauntlet. Did you want to talk to him at all or something like that, Give him a chance. I don't know if he had anyone in mind to talk to.
I think I'm good. Thank you, though.
So I imagine Smith just, like, calculatingly staring at everyone. All right, so
I have.
Oh, yes, please.
Well, I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
When I was asking about, like, the dragon eggs and what we are gonna do and all of that stuff,
Yep.
did Elia or Romalia speak up or say anything? I don't remember.
No. The
No, they didn't.
the two that spoke up was Dalen Winterhound, King Melondrock, and Onthar Froom. So it was the Emerald Enclave, the Order of the Gauntlet, and then the King of the High Forest.
And I had a question I wanted to ask Romalia. We don't have the RP yet, but
Sure.
I wanted to ask what her opinion on that was.
On her opinion of,
like, what to do if somebody finds a dragon egg, what to do with the dragons.
She will tell you, that she doesn't care what you do with the dragons. She wants the worm speakers captured and interrogated.
Okay. And then I wanted to go up and talk to Elia.
Okay.
I want to go up to her and say, through some research from somebody who I trust with my life, we've found out that it's really, really difficult to destroy a dragon egg.
She nods.
And we did find out, however, that it just so happens that dragons are able to destroy other dragons' eggs.
And she nods her head again.
We, after this, are going to be going and dealing with a mage who has tainted the lands around him with necromancy. And I know from Nylor that you know the precious cargo that we carry.
And she nods.
Would you take it and do what you see fit with it?
She looks at you and says, "It is not yet my place to see It is not yet my place to make a decision on what you carry. I must first speak to my brethren to learn of their decisions. Once the council has spoken, if my brethren choose to aid the lesser folk, then we will leave it to your decision. But if they feel that it is necessary to strike out on their own, they will do it with no thought or concern of the lesser races.
May I ask what your personal feelings on it are?
I have once known a chromatic dragon to fight his nature. It is rare, but it is not impossible. I do not believe that what it is the gods deem is all that there ever is. We are in sheer example of that.
I have one more question,
Yep.
if you'll entertain me. Who in this room do you think is worthy of knowing this information?
Oh. She'll say that she cannot see into the hearts of all that stand before her, and she has not yet heard the words that they choose to speak. She looks over at Neverember. She says, I believe Dagult is the most honest of all of us here. And then she looks over at Ramalia and says, but I believe her scrutiny would pay to the nature that this matter requires.
I'll
But I
nod
do
and
not.
acknowledge.
Sorry, she says, she looks over at Ontharr Froome and Dalen Winterhound, who are sitting like across the table from one another. She says, but I do not believe it is the best course of action to bring up that matter before those two.
I'll just put up my hand and say, lesson learned on that front.
Yep. She nods stoically.
I'll thank her and give her a deep bow out of respect.
All right. And so...
I had a question.
Oh, yep.
When the king was talking about Smith, well, not semi-Smith slash Iluna's grandfather, this whole sun elf thing, she
Yep.
was trying. All I remember asking was what kind of stories he knew of him, and I don't remember if did he say anything.
He doesn't.
The grandfather.
He just knows that the most that he knows is like kind of like he has storied exploits of his like diving into arcana and magic itself. Like he's
Okay.
like
And I think it was
like
I was
whoever
gonna ask about a description, but
he doesn't have one because he's never
I
met
think
him.
I got ahead of myself. Okay.
Yep.
Crap. There was something else. I guess if I remember it. Oh, she didn't bring up the moon half new moon ritual that she was semi considering going to. If any type of thing like that would interest him for him to come along. The one after the meeting.
I mean, he'll tell you that he is going
I
to
mean,
be
it's
there.
not a moon elf.
Right. He tells you that he's going to be there until the next day. So if you would want him to go, he would go.
Okay. That seems fair. She
Okay.
probably would. Just
Okay. All right. Now, Lord Dagout Neverember approaches the table, casting thaumaturgy on himself to boom his voice. He calls everyone to attention. As they all come back to the table, you see the delegates and representatives begin to sit around once again. And he says, "Now, we are going to carry this meeting out in an orderly fashion. I have shown you the ones that have been brought to me to carry out our deeds. As you all know, the cult of the dragon has been stirring for some time. Draconic activity across the realm is increasing. And it is through our lack of action that we could see the end of what we hold dear. If we are to put an end to whatever it is they are planning, if the rumors are true that they seek to summon their goddess, we need to find them. We need to stop them at all costs." You see Dalen goes to shift, and Dagout holds his hand out, and you see the crown that Dagout is wearing across his head glow slightly, similarly to when he touched it and then touched his lip to cast thaumaturgy. You see that it glows, and Dalen sits back down, and in a booming voice he says, "I said, orderly. Winterhound, you will have a chance to speak." And he sits back, and he crosses his arms. I will go around the table. I will allow those representing the factions today to speak first, as they represent the largest groups for which it is we are trying to protect. And he gestures over to Ramalia. Now, the way I'm going to present this information to you guys is going to be fairly straightforward and concise. I will give you guys this list when we are done, so you guys can sort of sit back, relax, and listen.
Awesome.
Ramalia stands up as Dagout sits down, and she says that the Harpers are willing to pledge the mages and the scouts of her ranks. But the cult... crap, I need my... I need to pull it up on my phone. Damn it. There you go. There we go. Tiamat. Perfect. She says that the Harpers require that the cult leaders, the worm speakers, are captured and held accountable for what they have done in order to gain information out of them so that the summoning ritual cannot even progress. Her concerns are that the Harpers do not act openly and aggressively, and she wants whatever it is that needs to be done to see the end of this to be done with quiet or with discretion. Onthar Froom, representing the Order of the Gauntlet, stands up next. And he explains that the Gauntlet is willing to pledge paladins and clerics to support the fight against Tiamat's forces. What it is that they desire, they don't care what you do with the cult leaders. They want the dragons dead. He explains that the dragons for too long have seen the death of the people of the realm, and if they have an opportunity to put an end to a number of them, it is now the time to strike. The concerns for the Gauntlet is that the Order will not stand by and aid those, and basically you guys, when I say heroes, I'm referring to you. The Order will not stand by and aid the heroes should you commit acts of dubious moral nature, due to the guidelines of the Gauntlet's righteous gods. Dalen Winterhound stands next. He explains that they are willing to pledge druids, rangers, treants, and good and neutral aligned lycanthropes. Their desires is the death of the cultists to restore the balance, but that the dragons are to be left alone in order to maintain the balance. Their concern is that the Enclave will not aid the heroes should you act recklessly to destroy dragon eggs or commit acts that would upset the natural cycle. And of the fourth faction, Rianne Nightshade of the Zentrum stands and says that she is willing to that the Zentrum is willing to offer assassins and mercenaries. Their desires is to stop the cult by any means necessary, but all worm speakers must be killed. There is to be no room left for them to commit their evil acts, to weave their words, and to create more chaos. Should they be left alive, that is all they foresee will happen. Their concern is that no worm speaker may live. Otherwise, the Black Network... they don't really have concerns. They just do not want the worm speakers to live. Otherwise, they will back your plans as long as their end goal is to increase the likelihood of stopping the cult. At this point, she sits down. Daggalt gestures over to Lady Lariel Silverhand, the representative of Waterdeep, and Lord Neverember says that the rest of them are representing the Lord's Alliance, the 7 greatest settlements in the Sword Coast. Lady Silverhand steps up and she says that she is willing to pledge Waterdeep's army and conscripted troops. Her desire is the limitation of putting the alliance... Oh, Jesus Christ, my notes. I need to put my password back in. Fucking hell.
I can do it!
Jesus, Aaron. Her desires is to limit putting the Alliance's troops in unnecessary danger. Her concern is that she will only commit troops once she is fully convinced that the cult is likely to succeed in summoning Tiamat. Lord Daggalt stands next, and he says that he is willing to pledge Neverwinter's conscripted troops and mercenaries from around the world that he has aligned with over the years. He is willing to utilize any and all resources to stop the cult. He has no concerns as long as the cult is stopped. In his eyes, you must do what needs to be done, even if it's distasteful. Conrad Braun Anvil stands next, representing Mithril Hall. He says that they are willing to pledge dwarven soldiers as well as dwarven forged armaments and siege weapons. His desire is to stop the cult and kill the dragon with as few dwarven soldiers as possible. His concern is that the dwarves have already suffered heavy losses in the north, and they have few soldiers to spare. So they are aiming to offer more of the armaments and siege weapons rather than bodies. Alder Ravengard, representing Baldur's Gate, stands, and he says that he is willing to pledge Flaming Fist warriors and expert advisors to train the conscripted troops. He says he will support the heroes so long as your plans and decisions promise stability and discipline across the realm, and that the Flaming Fist is to take a leading role in the fight, echoing what he already told Albina. His concern is that Baldur's Gate is still recovering from the havoc caused by the resurrection of Baal in his city. And as such, his troops are desperately needed there for reconstruction and policing. So while he does not have a lot of troops to offer, he does have expert advisors that can train those that are brought into the fight. King Melindrox stands next. He offers to he pledges Elven Eldritch Knights. His desire is the capture of any cult leader to gain information before committing any troops anywhere. His concern is that rashness and expedience will lead to poor decisions and outcomes, and he will not risk his troops and his elves until he is absolutely certain that there is no other option. Terran Thunderspell's Hornblade stands next, representing Silvery Moon. He pledges the Army of Silvery Moon, also known as the Knights in Silver, and Silvery Moon's conscripted soldiers. His desire is the protection of the troops of Silvery Moon and the information that is offered, or that can be gained from the cult. His concerns are that committing soldiers to the effort of fighting the cult could leave Silvery Moon weakened, and he cannot risk that. He believes that calculated risks are necessary, and no one is likely to emerge unscathed. And finally, Sir Estevel of Cormyr pledges the might of Cormyr, including the Purple Dragon Knights and the War Wizards. His desires are that he will support the heroes so long as you commit to a principled path of honor. His concern is that Cormyr and the Purple Knights will not stand by the heroes should you stray from the path of honor. So, you guys basically have 4 options, for the most part. Kill the Worm Speakers and leave the dragons. Kill the Worm Speakers and kill the dragons. Capture the Worm Speakers and leave the dragons. Or capture the Worm Speakers and kill the dragons.
Can we take a vote and see what everyone wants to do?
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
going to put that in there. And then, give me one quick second, because I will, I'll make this a little bit easier for you. I should have done this earlier. This would have made a lot more sense.
Maybe.
Yeah. And 4. Bap, bap. There we go. So, what I'm going to do is, here in the chat, I'm going to put 4 options. I just think, like, being that we have this, easiest thing to do is if you want to put your own little character as a reaction on there to show what you are in support of. And then while you guys are doing that, I want to explain how this is going to roll out, because I know that right now there's been, like, you know, a lot of push to this council, and, like, a lot. I choose the 5th option. I kick the wall down.
Yeah, you do.
So the way that this is going to work,
I go home.
Yeah.
Become a
Ah,
princess.
I go home. So yeah, like I said, just go ahead and 5 is all of the above. So the way that this is going to work is you guys are going to be presented with general locations where the cultists have been spotted. Your decision here will guide how you want to go about them. This will eventually culminate into whether the summoning of Tiamat is going to commence or if you've done enough to stop them. In the end, if the
Does it
summoning
even
is
matter?
maybe.
In
if
the
you could...
end.
Oh god.
Please.
I love you. I love you, Tony. In the end, if the summoning is going to happen, those that you align yourself with, and I have, depending on what you pick, who will be standing behind you. With that information, they will be offering what it is they have chosen to pledge, so long as you stick by what it is they want. So as I said, the Harpers want the capture of the worm speakers, and they don't care what you do to the dragons. They just want you to be good and be quiet. The Gauntlet does not care what you do with the cultists. They just want the dragons killed. The Enclave wants the dragons left alone, does not care about the cultists so much, and the Zentrum wants the worm speakers killed.
Okay, the worm speakers are the cultists, right?
The worm speakers are the cult leaders. So like, you guys can fuck up, pissant cultists all day, which you kind of already have to some degree. It is the worm speakers, those that are leading each one of the cults. They are the ones with the plans. They are the ones with the information. It is your decision how you want to handle them. This is more or less the graph you guys are looking at.
Oh,
That's so much
money
better.
right there.
Ain't it?
Yeah.
Ain't it?
It really is, B.
This is why I was scrambling last week, because I had I had a bunch of like different notes of like, oh, what would they want, and it wasn't until like I was planning on spending some time putting this together, and then over the past week I'm like, I have to figure this out. Now, what does that mean in the meantime? You guys are potentially going to go out and kill a slew of cultists, possibly some dragons. What do you get out of it? Well, if you guys remember back to those books that I bought a while ago for talents, in the first book, there are talents that revolve around the different factions. Being that Lord Neverember has basically said he will back you no matter what, because he wants an end to this, you will automatically have access. So you guys are all going to get one free talent. Depending on who you side with, will determine who you have access to gain those talents from. Now, as you can see on there, the Zentrum and the Harpers want two different things. So you cannot ally with both. And the Order of the Gauntlet and the Emerald Enclave want two separate things. You can't align with both of them. So you have to make the decision when it comes to the factions of who you're going to side with.
Gosh, it could be the Cormier and Baldur's Gate.
Right, Cormier,
Neverwinter. They all
yeah,
want the same thing.
those guys. Yeah, I have a list of who's willing to represent you, but being that Lord Neverember is basically willing to stand by you guys no matter what the situation calls for, you'll have access to the Lord's Alliance talents. This is more going to determine what other ones. Do you get the Harpers, the Order, the Enclave, or the Zentrum?
Now, what about this behavior? Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead and ask your question, Hannah. Mine's going to be probably a little bit more long-winded.
The behavior one, Zentrum doesn't care what you do. Just show results.
Oh, gotcha.
Neverwinter, Lord Neverember, again, doesn't really care what you do, because sometimes you have to do dubious things in order to get the job done. That is, that's sort of his ideal, is the world needs strong leaders to protect them, and you must do what needs done, even when it's distasteful.
Okay.
As for the other ones, the Harpers want you guys to be innocuous. They want you to be quiet. They don't want you guys drawing in a bunch of attention. Baldur's
Okay.
Gate wants you guys to be disciplined, straightforward, and focused. And Cormyr wants you to be honorable. So basically what that means is, if you guys go out and start doing a bunch of kind of evilish things, or you start like going out and doing things that are kind of distasteful, they might not stand by you. And what that relates to is more in the end game. If you guys piss them off, you're not going to have access to their stuff.
Gotcha.
Okay, can
So
I ask?
does stuff that happened in the
oh.
past count towards that?
Oh, we're going to get to that. Yes, Tony, go ahead and ask your question.
I was just gonna ask, is it possible to ask Elia what she thinks would be the best course of action? If she was in our shoes, what would she do? In results to killing or leaving the dragons, or killing or capturing the worm speakers?
I think she's already made her point fairly clear, that she believes that the dragons are not to blame in this. But she will say, when it comes to the worm speakers, you need as much information as you can. That's the guidance that she will give.
So basically, she's saying
Capture.
she's saying capture the worm speakers and leave the dragons.
Yes.
Okay. Then that's what I'm gonna vote for.
Okay.
But there's not a. Oh, there's an either. Yeah, capture either.
Yep. Kill worm speakers, leave dragons. Kill worm speakers and the dragons. Capture the worm speakers, leave the dragons. Or capture them and kill the dragons.
And Tony, if Tony would vote, I would say 2. Because but you know, my
Oh, I'm
character.
sitting here staring at this chart and the other thing, and I didn't vote. I'm sorry.
It's all good.
I'm just like sitting here. Like, yeah, that's what I would do.
Stacey, what were you gonna ask?
Sort of what I started to ask, but I came with another question too now. Are they what are past actions count towards their end game alliances?
Yes, because there are those out in the world that know of your past exploits. And you can be sure that if they are willing to stand by you as representatives of what need done in this world, that they will be looking into the deeds that you have done. So, for example, Cormyr and Baldur's Gate might approach, they might say, we stand by you for now, but should you stray from the path, and we will look into, they're basically going to put you on a probationary period. And if they feel that you have done something that goes against their behavioral requirements, they might make you prove yourselves if you want their aid.
Yes.
Also,
would they discuss stuff with us? Like, explain yourself. This seems pretty over the top.
Yeah, I mean they so here's the way this is going to work. You guys can sort of go out into the world. After all this, after the council is done, there's going to be other council meetings. So once you guys go out, I'm going to have moments where Elia's going to reach out to you guys, and she's going to say, we're reconvening the council. So with that in mind, if you guys are out there doing your thing, and like you go after, the red cult, or, the black cultists, you know, whichever ones you guys go after, and then you go back to the council, you know, Cormier, sorry, what's I have the cities on here. Sir Estival might, you know, be like, hey, you know, we looked into some of what you've done. Is it true that you went up in Neverwinter, or you were, you know, out in the outskirts of Neverwinter and slew a group of sellswords? And, you know, and I know that I know that I harped on that one for you guys, but they might ask you, what was the reason behind that? Because what it is, we are told two separate things. You know, when we looked into it, we can see it two separate ways. So what was your drive? What was your reasoning? And if you give a good reason, they'll be like, okay, that's fine. You know, we stand by you. But if they don't think that you're going down the path that they can stand by, they might tell you guys, like, you know, we can't stand by and allow you to do this. Like, we are going to work against the cult in our own ways separately. Or we might, you know, it's like, we can't trust that you are the ones that we need to do this, and they might send their own party to try and go after them. You know, you wouldn't know 100% what their final decision would be.
Also, I think this was touched on, but I'm just trying to remember. Well, not remember. What would King Melindrock? Is he's
High Forest. He doesn't care what you do to the dragons, but he wants the worm speakers captured.
okay, that's what I thought. And his alignment, or the whole, everyone's good mostly except for Zentrum.
Yeah, because the Zentrum and Neverwinter are basically like, fucking stop them! Like, it doesn't matter. The world's in peril. Everyone else is like, we can't come out on the end of this looking like assholes.
Yeah, you go in history books.
Yeah.
Although, I wonder if that aligns with the elves and the dwarves. They live a long time, and they really can't. Their history just lasts forever. So,
Smith, real fast, what is your decision, so I can denote your choice on there? Smith?
Sorry, I didn't realize my mic was off. I think I'm in favor of voting 2, killing the worm speakers and the dragons.
Oh, okay. Killing the worm speakers and the dragons. I'm putting a little Pepe on the one that Iggy wants to do, but he's only following Zash.
What a great fucking thing.
And Albina, can I try to talk him into making my choice with some goblin talking here?
I mean, hey. I mean, his vote is like 1/8 of the rest of the group, so
I persuaded him. He
okay.
get an eighth more.
Okay.
I just had a passing thought of similar with Iluna kind of trying to get Anime's thoughts, because she's going to be brought into this ridiculous mix. If she had thoughts about killing things or not. Who do you need to kill?
Her opinion is that she you know, as a creature with limited historical knowledge of everything, she sees the dragons as a part of the natural order, as any creature that is existing in the world. So if she had to lean anyway, it would be to leave the to you know, it's not the dragon's fault.
And they're not all inherently bad.
I mean, They're not all in here.
They're not.
They're super greedy as shit. I will say that,
I
and
thought you said that
chaotic.
it depended on the color of each
So each so there's two categories of dragons. You have metallic and chromatic. Metallic, the gold, the silver, like Elia, the bronze, the brass, all of them, those are good dragons. Chromatic, black, red, blue, white, green, those are the evil dragons, and they're driven by different wants and desires. Like, black dragons just crave death. Red dragons want lots of wealth. White dragons are just kind of retarded chaos balls.
Aren't they like obsessive hunters?
They hunt, but they're just the dumbest things in the world. So yeah, they're kind of one of the more dangerous ones because they're highly unpredictable. But black dragons are the fucking sadistic ones that will capture people and leave them alive and slowly fillet their skin off and use their magic to keep them alive the entire time.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, I was including like the other dragons. That's why I was like, why are we just gonna go on a killing spree?
Oh, no. So let me be more clear with this. Because I haven't. Green dragon, or Jesus Christ, I looked up green dragons real fast. What this means by kill the dragons. There is a potential that you guys could come across some dragon eggs in your journey. That's what
I was gonna ask.
The cult, after all, the cult of the black dragon obviously had a black dragon egg with them. Now, the biggest source of the eggs, the Skyreach Castle that you guys heard about last session that fell to the ground, in that arcane explosion, the eggs there were destroyed. Granted, it's highly impractical that you guys could recreate such a display because it was a massive hatchery, but the eggs there were destroyed as far as what was reported. Also, the heroes that were there doing that died in the explosion as well. But if you guys come across dragon eggs, that's where the kill the dragons or leave the dragons comes into play. It's not just Cryovane and Pyresite and the other dragons that are in the area that are the ones the cult, the worm speaker is going to. It is the eggs that they hope to hatch to try and use in the summoning and use as part of Tiamat's army. So I do understand I should have put dragons / eggs. So call that as you will. That is supposed to be dragons / eggs. And I will delete that, and I will repost that picture.
Oh, I was like, wait a minute. Okay.
I will repost that picture with that revision. Now, obviously, you guys, I can see, oh, no, Albina's thing has gone.
Yeah, I'm trying to
we unvoted. Because I had that question and you were sort of answering it. Does kill the dragons mean kill the eggs?
Destroy the eggs.
Or only full-grown dragons?
Destroy the eggs.
And it's known that the worm speakers and the cultists, they're the one who's really causing all the trouble.
Well, yeah, I mean, dragons aren't trying to summon their god. Dragons don't believe in gods, technically.
Okay.
Dragons, the thing is there's two dragon gods. There's Tiamat and Bahamut, and they're not technically gods. They were Io, who was the dragon that birthed all the dragons, and then when the dragons were fighting the gods in the primordial war, the gods, the actual gods, fucking split Io into two separate beings, into Tiamat and Bahamut, the evil, Tiamat the evil, Bahamut the good, and then the dragons, you know, who at one time were all together, now are separated into chromatics and metallics, and the chromatics are the evil following Tiamat, and the chromatics are the good following Bahamut, and they have a fair opposition against gods in essence.
Oh, I'm gonna leave my original choice.
But cultists, on the other hand, they love gods. They love anything they can worship.
Okay, I was a little sidetracked. Did you so all these dragons that are on the map, they're all evil, correct? Like they're not like neutral or good. They are siding more with the evil side.
It is safer to assume they are evil in nature. Now, if they are lawful or chaotic, would be something you might have to determine. Because the thing to consider, a lawful evil character is not that bad. Like, it's a crime boss, but he follows a code of honor and ethics. It's his honor and ethics, which might not align with what society prefers. But and so because of that, he's evil. But, like, a lawful evil dragon might not be you might be able to work with them. You might be able to offer them something in a way to turn against the cult. Like, if you go up to a red dragon and you get the chance to talk to him and you're like, look, the cult's doing this to siphon your power, and then they're gonna summon a god, and you're going to be under the control of that god. And that red dragon might just say, well, I don't like that because I'm my own dragon. I live by my rules. It's my way or the flyway. And he might be like, hey, I'll help you kill the ones that are worshiping me because they've been kind of annoying, as long as I can keep my horde.
Okay, now a question for you. Which of these options would be capture the worm speakers, leave the dragons, kill the eggs?
That's sort of what I was.
Destroying the
either?
eggs?
Either?
I would say if you wanted to do it that way.
Would that be option 5?
Either can either be like you leave, kill the bad ones.
I
that are
will
influenced,
I
and
will
leave the
say
eggs.
this. I will say this. If you are offering that up, neither the Order of the Gauntlet or the Emerald Enclave would stand behind you, because the Order wants dragons killed. They don't care if they're eggs or wormlings or young dragons or adult dragons or ancient dragons. They want dragons killed. The Enclave, on the other hand, wants the dragons left alone because they're part of the natural order. So if you're basically saying, well, we're going to leave the dragons alone, but we're going to destroy any eggs we find, then either side is like, well, you're not really giving us everything we wanted, so...
Okay, and then my other question is, based on what we vote, like capture the worm speakers, leave the dragons, that's all fine and dandy. Later on, if something were to happen, we're not like locked into that decision, right? We like if we
no, like you can if you guys are down the line and you're like, hey, all right, we decided we're gonna kill all the dragons. And, those of them that are like, yay, are good. But then you get down the line and you're like, you know what? We kind of realize that's not going to be the best option. So we're actually going to let the dragons live and just continue doing what they're doing. Then if you have, so like, let's say you start out by saying, because what you guys have right now, leave the dragons alone. You're going to get the siding of the Harpers and the Emerald Enclave. But if down the line, you guys realize, like, fuck, we need to destroy these, no questions asked, then basically the Emerald Enclave is going to be like, look, we can't stand by you then. But the Order is going to be like, hey, welcome back to the side of righteousness. Now, what I will say with that is if you guys have the Emerald Enclave, and let's say, for example, Iluna takes the one talent that comes with the Enclave, known as Naturalist, where you gain proficiency with an herbalism kit, and you can add a D10 once per long rest to animal handling, nature checks, medicine checks, and perception and survival checks in the wilderness. And then you guys realize, fuck, we need to just be murdering all these things. She will lose access to that talent and will then have to pick from the pool that exists between the Harpers, or I mean, I'm just saying the Harpers because right now you guys are on the side of capturing them, but the Harpers, the Gauntlet, and the Lord's Alliance.
Okay,
So there are going to be more council meetings along the way where you guys kind of got to give a status report, but they're like, the delegates all have to go back to where they are. The council meetings going forward are going to be in a more, like, I don't want to say a mystical, magical way, but kinda. They're basically going to be doing Zoom calls.
They're gonna
That's what-
do. They're gonna do a mega
Board meeting.
multi sending. That's all.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to say is I'm leaving my vote as is, but down the line, if in our travels to find the worm speakers, if we get attacked by a dragon, it's not like I'm going to be like, oh no, leave it alone. Like I'm going to
Yeah.
So
was gonna
that's a
say
slightly
something
different
similar. It's-
thing. And Dalen
like
Winterhound understands that you guys are aiming to bring balance back to the world. If a dragon outright attacks you unprovoked,
That's
he
self-defense.
understands that you would have to
Okay,
defend
yeah.
yourself. Dalen Winterhound the Emerald Enclave has fought dragons before. It is that they just don't want you guys going out recklessly destroying
Okay.
dragon eggs or
Okay.
committing
Hunting
acts.
dragon.
Yeah, like if you guys sneak up on a dragon somehow and slice its throat somehow, with a giant knife, it's like it wasn't
Wow.
attacking you. Like you're committing an atrocity, and that's kind of like the thing with capturing the worm cultists. In the end, they're probably all going to die anyway.
It doesn't even matter.
But it's about capturing them and bringing them back to the council to give them that opportunity to interrogate them. That becomes the struggle. And that's kind of where, like, the easiest path, and this is nothing against the two of you, Smith and Seftis, kill the dragons, kill the worm speakers. It's the easiest path. You're just going in murdering shit. Capturing one requires you knocking them out and getting them back to Neverwinter, or wherever it is that you guys decide to set up. Because truthfully and honestly, it's entirely up to you guys where you want to tell Daggle where you're going to be taking them. Because maybe Neverwinter's not the best place to be taking a fucking worm speaker.
Okay, now my
I was
another
gonna
question.
say-
Go ahead, Tony.
The disciples of the black dragon that we killed, those were just like those. None of those were like worm speakers, right?
No, you will know a worm speaker when you see one.
Well, that last one did something to the egg and made it like a beacon. So that
Yeah, he
sounds
did.
pretty worm speaker-ish to me. That's why I asked.
I mean, here's the thing.
I don't even know what worm speakerish would be.
Here's the thing. If I was looking for someone and I had a bunch of friends that I said, "Hey, go out and look for this thing," and I gave each one of you a beacon that you can activate once you find it, so that you can either bring it back to me or that I can know where it is. I mean, that's not him being the one in charge. He doesn't have magic powers, but has been given something that can notify those looking for the egg of where it is.
Okay. You answered all my questions. My
Yeah, I
vote
was
stays the
gonna-
same.
I was gonna say Iluna's stance is really protect the people, defend ourselves, and it seems
Save the cheerleader, save the world.
yeah. Sort of like that, especially with the leave the dragons. If the dragons are actively, like, we know the white dragon seems to be actively attacking Phandalin, we might, if it isn't going to stop, we might have to kill it. But it's not the, she's not. I don't know. It's more like protect the people, defend themselves, which is not actively seeking out dragons. But
Sure.
I don't know. I'm sticking where I am, but like it feels like they'd hunt down the white dragon because they know the white dragon's actively attacking Phandalin. So
I mean, so again, here's the thing. You guys are going to have other council meetings.
but she's not gonna like whack
you-
the shit out of dragon eggs necessarily.
But that's the thing. You guys are going to have other council meetings. The deeds that you commit along the way are going to be tracked and recorded. Those, because them giving you these talents are going to be through badges. Those badges are going to be what it is that record that. And that's just some DM fuckery that I'm giving you guys. So it's while you have those that you get your talents, but it's also with those that your actions must be accounted for. So not only that, but you also have to consider, like, the Order of the Gauntlet is all over the place. The Emerald Enclave is all over the place. The Harpers, same thing. Zentrum, they're everywhere. Just don't know who they are. So there's going to be a check-in every now and again when you guys go back to the council meetings, where if it's like, okay, the white dragon Cryovane has been slayed, and if you guys sided with the Emerald Enclave, they might say, like, you know, what was the situation? Why did you have to resort to that? And if you honestly defended yourselves and you claim that, I mean, you shouldn't see a reason why they wouldn't believe you and, you know, allow you to continue working under their mantle.
Would the other way around happen though? If it's known that we've killed a dragon, would like the Order of the Gauntlet or Mithril Hall people be like, "Hey, do you want our alliance? Because we see you killing this dragon. Here, do you remember what we were offering?" Or
they might try,
because you're saying, you know, stuff might be taken away, but maybe another group would be like,
when you get to that point, if you guys start killing a bunch of dragons, the Emerald Enclave might, you know, start to say, like, look, we don't actually think that you're doing this legit, and the Order of the Gauntlet might come in and be like, well, hot damn, like, let's go murder all the dragons, and basically, you know, guide you guys that way. So, like I said, going either way, like, you know, yes or no.
Necessarily a matter of a loss, and we might not gain anything.
Well, again, the thing you have to remember is they all pledged resources. The Order of the Gauntlet pledged paladins and clerics in the fight against Tiamat. So that means that if you don't have them on their side, and the cult is able to start the summoning, you guys would not have access to them if you don't side with them. So you're not going to have paladins and healing clerics and stuff like that. But while all this is going on, Elia approaches the map that is spread across the table, the one of the surrounding area, and she, as promised to Nylor, is going to approach the table and explain that the sightings of the dragons and the information that she has gathered from Ramalia and Rianne about potentially known cult activity has allowed them to sort of get an understanding of the whereabouts of where the cult could be operating in the surrounding area. So This is wrong map. Back to that. If you look at the map, you will see that there are large encompassing circles. So, she explains that the most sense that it makes is that the red dragon, a fire dragon, is going to be near the volcano of Mount Hottenau. That the white dragon has clearly been spotted near the Sword Mountains and Phandalin, and there is an old hold up there known as Ice Spire Peak, or Ice Spire Hold, that the dragon may have taken up residence in. As Dalen explained, out in the Cryptogarden Forest, there's an old green dragon that has resided there for many years, that the cult has now begun to crowd around, and that the black dragon there's been rumors that a black dragon once lived in the Mire of Deadman down to the south, and that would be the most likely place, and that there has been little but slightly noted odd occurrences going on down that direction, mostly of an undead nature. But the one that they don't have a solid grasp on is that, as you guys already know, there has been rumors of strange thunder magic coming from Neverwinter Wood up near Conaberry. Now, the blue dragon is the dragon of storms, so they kind of fear that could be related to it. They are not sure. They do not have enough information about it yet, but that is why they, are giving these general areas, is that it's happening up near there. So that is the map as it sits now of where the potential areas of cult activity are. Oh, man, burp.
So as a group consensus, are you guys okay with going up and facing the wizard and then going to take care of the white dragon? Like completely backtracking to Phandalin where we all came from and doing that first. Stacy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Hannah?
I mean, from a player perspective, I know that's just...
Hannah?
I was thinking, I don't know if we're ready. How many people do we have? Is this other than us, just the three? We're talking about the same person from that we spoke with Kane, right?
Yeah.
The wizard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we could die either way, so yeah, that's fine.
That's the spirit.
Yeah!
I don't care
Yeah!
how I die. It doesn't matter.
Yeah!
Dragon, mage.
All right, JJ, you okay with that? Okay. Smith?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay.
Let's go at the
Steve?
front with fireballs.
Yeah, I'm ready for some combat.
Oh, I don't think we're hitting combat today, bud.
Wait,
but
Oh,
I know,
not
but I
today,
just
yeah.
Yeah. What'd
Okay.
you say? What'd you say, Steve?
I just said the white dragon's on Septis's to-do list, so yeah, it's all good.
All right. So should we let the council know that's our plan?
You can let them know that is your plan.
I'm asking the group, not
Oh.
I'm asking if they
Sorry,
think that's a
You're,
good
DM.
idea.
you're
You're
asking,
not allowed to
you're,
speak.
you're asking their consensus and not my
I'll get 'em
permission.
both.
You know
I
what,
don't
DM?
think they
We don't
necessarily
need
to
your
know, do they?
permission.
You know what? DM, just summon a dragon right here. We'll fight it right now.
Let's go!
Yeah, come at me, bro.
I have them all pulled up. I have them,
On a council meeting.
I have them all
You know
pulled
what?
up.
They just
I
can-
saw that dragon. I'm gonna cast sending and
Like-
call it.
You know what? You guys caught me. You see, it's actually, you guys are the human sacrifices, and it's actually this room that is a
Oh,
boiling
damn.
pot. You're all dead, and Tiamat rises to murder.
Oh man.
The dragon.
Alright.
All this time.
I guess we'll let
All
the
this
council know
time.
because I know that Hannah has to leave soon. So I think I could
You know
stop
what?
him.
No, because we started later. I messaged my friend and
I mean,
postponed because
I'm
I'm cool
planning.
with sticking around
I'm
if
I'm
needed.
planning on calling it pretty soon anyway. So
Okay,
cause,
yeah, cool. Because
cause
I told him like we had canceled the 2 next sessions, so like I said, well, they might need me to stick around, so we'll just postpone it for another hour. But yeah, whatever you need to do, Lucas.
I do have dinner ready, so.
Oh
I have to
no,
go
no,
yeah.
you're not
So
allowed to eat. Only the DM.
basically, what I was gonna say is just to try and expedite this a little bit. You guys clearly seem to be in favor of capturing the worm speakers and leaving the dragons alone. At least tentatively, that is what you have chosen.
Wow.
With
Yeah,
that,
tentative.
And that is based on whose vote again?
sorry,
Tony, Hannah, and Stacy.
that was Nylor, yeah, Nylor, Albina, and Iluna.
What are you gonna fireball me, Smith? Huh?
I was thinking I might be able to talk you into my side, but maybe not.
I'm all ears. Put that fireball away.
I want to hear Smith's argument.
Hannah wants to leave the dragons.
I want to hear your argument, Smith.
Haven't we dealt with the ice dragon or dragons in the past?
Wait, you personally?
Yeah.
I'll say that you've. I'll say that at least.
Didn't we have an encounter with the ice dragon?
Wait,
Yes.
say.
Or the white dragon?
Before you guys, we did, yeah.
Yes, it was before you guys had joined, because it was it wasn't until because it was when the group got Iggy that they encountered the white dragon.
The white dragon killed my army of follower goblins.
Right.
We blame Vanadar for that though.
Yeah.
So Albina just doesn't think children.
So the one that you are, so technically, Smith, you do have a bit of history with one, mostly because Albina and Seftis were going after the white dragon, and that's what took you guys to Phandalin, because Albina was sent with her nightly order, to make sure that the dragon was stopped. Does not necessarily mean that it has to be killed, but that it needs to be stopped before it can cause any more havoc and mayhem and chaos.
I was gonna adopt the dragon, just to let you know. Like, it was gonna go home with me.
So, like I said, with what you guys have chosen, here are the factions that are siding with you. It is the Harpers, the Emerald Enclave, and the Lord's Alliance. So there is your mantles.
The only question I have is, like, we're actually split on what to do with the dragons. Like, we are 3 and 3 on killing and leaving the dragons.
You know what? I think that's.
I was going to say that we're clear about capture the worm speakers, but we're not clear on the other half.
Okay, I will rescind that, and
I need everyone to throw will savings throw.
Yeah.
That is not in favor of saving the dragon babies. No, it's kidding.
Well, I mean, if you guys want to try and make your argument, those of you that want to kill them, those of you that want to capture them, we will start to keep this orderly. We will start on the side of killing the dragons. So those all in favor of killing dragons, why don't you go ahead and voice your reasoning behind wanting to kill them?
This is D&D, and I feel like killing dragons is one of the 3 pinnacle fights of all of D&D, and you will all be actively robbing me of my enjoyment.
Thank you. Very well said.
Oh, wow.
Aimed directly at Hannah, if you care for Iggy, you should want revenge on Cryovane because he killed all of Iggy's family. So if you don't want to kill the dragons, you are also actively denying Iggy his rightful revenge.
That is
on Phandalin.
legitimately the case. Like that is
It's
actually
a low
why
blow, man.
that is
But I didn't know
actually
that actually.
yes.
I
That
didn't
is
really ask that.
yeah. That is actually why Iggy. I know I was joking about it. That is actually why Iggy is in favor of killing the dragons with Zash, because Iggy's entire clan, except for Lucas, I mean, as far as you all know, was killed, was frozen, and then crushed and eaten by Cryovane.
Well, if Iggy, if Zash wants to throw a, I was gonna say charisma. No, you know what? For Iggy, as long as we capture the worms, I think they're better alive than dead. I'm okay with killing those dragons. I'm not really fond of killing baby dragons, but I can. Why is there only one down here?
What?
Oh, we moved Iggy. I'm sorry. Yeah, you could probably move Iggy back down. Come on, Iggy. I'm sorry.
Well,
I'll go
again,
on your side.
Iggy's only counts for like an eighth of all of yours, but you know, there's
Oops.
little
I'm
dancing
sorry.
Pepe.
I'm sorry, Luna. I don't know. I thought that was Iggy because I couldn't see.
No,
It's a dancing frog.
yeah, it's a dancing Pepe.
I wanted to say, oh, I forgot what I was saying. The alliances play a part. The Lord Alliance.
The
and
Lord's
the-
Alliance. Yep.
And is it the Emerald Enclave that says bring the balance, and they're the Rangers and stuff?
Yes.
Is that yeah. Iluna's siding there.
Okay.
Which of course leaves the dragons alive.
Oh, I see.
Hannah, go ahead and take. Oh, sorry, real
You have to
fast.
take your
Take your reaction off of number 3, Hannah, if you are going with number 4.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I took it off of there.
No, it's all good. and then Steve can go ahead and argue in his favor.
All right. Well, the White Dragon is the sole reason Septis' mentor and friend and link to humanity is dead. He witnessed the White Dragon killing him, so Septis is all about killing this White Dragon, and he's probably going to do so regardless of what anyone decides. So that's just
Can
a heads
I
up.
can I offer you a truce that we kill the dragons and leave the worm speakers? At least.
The Worm Speakers, he could probably swing either way on. He's not really that fussy about who or what he kills at this point.
I think
As
we
long as
might
the
get some
dragon's on the
information
list,
from them.
anything else before
And
the dragon is probably
yeah,
going to get dead too. So
we can kill them after we get the information. It's not a problem.
Again,
Okay,
they're gonna
I'm down
die
with
in
that.
the end.
Yeah.
It's basically you. The challenge with capturing
Get
them, like I said,
information.
is getting the information out of them, and like not letting them, like getting any information out of them. Like if you guys start just killing willy-nilly, the Harpers would basically be like, you've killed 3 of them and we haven't gotten any information. And then the Zentrum's gonna be like, yeah, baby, let's go!
I think we should hold them hostage and kill them off slowly when they don't give us the information,
limb
starting with their
removal.
pinkies.
I want to know what the talents they have before I make my decision. I'm just kidding.
I don't blame you. I actually wrote them down. I actually wrote them down specifically for that. But it is better formatted in the Dropbox
Oh no! Whoops.
that I have for that. So if you go into Discord, you go up to the pinned messages. There is there's the thing for the books. And if you look up Talent Book 1, it's like towards the bottom. It has all the factions. So here's what I'll say. Go ahead and take time to read through it. you know, give you, I'll give you guys. I mean, we're not playing next week. We'll be reconvening on the 27th, which is the following week. So, with that in mind, you guys can take some time, figure out exactly what you want to do, figure out who you want to side with, and again, I don't blame you for wanting to look at the actual talents, because legitimately those do matter. Because those are going to be the active benefits that you guys get during this next chapter in the campaign. Because realistically, once you guys deal with Cryovane, the Dragon of Icespire Peak is technically over. And I have, when we reconvene, Lord Neverember is going to have sort of a new quest for you guys that is going to take you down to the town on the map right above where the Mire of Deadman is, known as Lylon. So that's going to be an opportunity for you guys, and that's sort of the second chapter of this campaign. So there's stuff there. You guys sort of dealing with the cultists in your own time. But yeah, like I said, we'll do that.
Sorry, one quick question. How big is the black dragon egg again?
Like a football.
Yeah, like a football.
All right. Can my Mimcat eat it?
Oh Lord.
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be able to bite through it. So
Yeah,
it
would
he was just gonna swallow it. But he can transform into whatever need be.
It won't be able to change another shape though.
Yeah. It would always be egg shaped.
Yeah. Oh, okay. No, I just thought that might be a quick solution. I was like, maybe no one ever thought of this, but he can kind of eat whatever.
Okay.
All right.
The 27th, everyone get all day
I will let you know the whole day off.
session.
I don't know. I can't promise. We have our Prego girl at work who's leaving in July. All our weekends are changing, so I will get back to you as soon as I get to work, which is on Tuesday. I'll find out.
So as I did a little bit prematurely moments ago. Shut up, Aaron. If I am to believe what you guys have chosen, this will end up being the mantles for which you guys are aligning with: the Harpers, the Order, and the Lord's Alliance. Again, take a week. This is, I'm obviously sort of slowly scaling it back till we finish the session today, but this is kind of where we're gonna have it trail off for the end of the night. Here, Hannah, here's a picture of the dragon egg.
Can you
I know.
type those out, like the words, the Harpers, Harpers, just so I know which one to look at.
What on those? Wait.
Just
yes.
so I know which one to look at. Harpers.
How about you respond to it with the name.
So yeah, this one, the ones that you guys have more or less sided with is the Harpers, the Order of the Gauntlet, and the Lord's Alliance.
Awesome. Can we pin that?
There. I will. Sure.
Just if we need to refer back to it, etc. Thanks.
So those
I
are
didn't
the
want
ones.
to just do it because it's your server.
No, yeah, you're fine. I mean, you could have done it. I wouldn't have cared at all. So yeah, like I said, when you guys go into the talents book, that is in that pinned message, you go to it's towards the very bottom. I actually think it is the last list of talents. So, for example, with what you guys have right now, the Harpers, they could offer you the chance of the specialist, the favored foe specialist, where you guys can pick 2 evil organizations, one of which is the Cult of the Dragon, and you have advantage on wisdom and charisma checks made against them, as well as on intelligence checks to recall information. This is basically going to be played out as in you're going to get like communication from Ramalia about that when you guys need it. You could get the Harper Knowledge, which gets you proficiency with a disguise kit or a forgery kit or gaming set, instrument, or thieves' tools. And when you make an intelligence check, and also when you make an intelligence check, you can add a D10 before you know the outcome, and you can do that once per long rest. The Lord's Alliance, for example, has a one called Glory and Honor, where you can choose a number of creatures within 60 feet of you that you can see equal to half your level, and you can make a bonus action. You can take a bonus action to have those creatures you selected have advantage on their next attack roll or ability check, and it lasts until the start of your next turn. And again, most of these are all once per long rest. The Order of the Gauntlet has more stuff that goes against evil creatures. So, because the Harpers is more about the Harpers is more about information. The Lord's Alliance is more about general attack and defeating of enemies. And the Order of the Gauntlet is more about stopping evil.
Evil.
I love. Oh yeah, go ahead.
You're saying we have so far chosen which one? Because now we just have 2, 2, and 2.
But it
No, you have to.
The either.
You guys
There's
have.
yeah.
So right now, based on what you guys have chosen to capture the worm speakers and kill the dragons, because there are 4 of you in favor of capturing the worm speakers, and there are now 4 of you in favor of killing the dragons. So the party is now leaned towards capture worm speakers, kill the dragons. Because of that, you are aligning with the Harpers in your desire to capture the worm speakers, the Order of the Gauntlet to kill the dragons, and you are going to get the Lord's Alliance regardless, because Lord Neverember is just a crazy son of a bitch.
I prefer to go with result-oriented.
Yeah, exactly.
Instead of crazy.
Yeah. So,
Cool.
So yeah, like I said, take the next 2 weeks, look over the talents, let me know what you guys want. I am going to spend some time adding all of them to D&D Beyond, so you can select them as a feat. And then, like I said, that is kind of like the active benefit that you guys are going to get rolling forward by aligning yourselves with them. The end game with all of them is that should the cult succeed in beginning the summoning ritual and you guys make a push to stop them, because that's one of the big questions right now is, like, you kind of know where the dragons more or less are, like where the cults are sort of located in this immediate area, but where's the actual summoning taking place? That's like the big thing.
When we're trying to capture the worm keepers, we can kill the rest of the cultists. So.
Oh yeah, fuck them. They don't care. They don't have information. They're just they're just workers.
They're just trying to capture them for info.
Yeah, the worm speakers are going to be the ones.
What happens after they?
I mean, the worm speakers are going to be the ones that have that information. So, more than likely, you could just kill the cultists at your discretion.
All right, guys, we done? Can I go eat?
Yeah, you're good, man. Go and grab some
Oh, I'm
food.
sorry. I thought you were eating already. I'm
Nope.
sorry.
I'll talk to you guys later.
All right, see you, buddy.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
I'm gonna go.